Good morning, folks. This is Danny from Danny's Luxury Vacations. We're an independent affiliate of the Avoya Travel Network. And today we have a wonderful guest with us. One of our preferred suppliers is with us today, Seabourn Cruise Line. We have Eva, who's going to have a little open discussion with us. We're going to ask some questions to Eva about her amazing product so you get a better understanding of what Seabourn is all about and why you want to cruise with them. So, Eva, welcome and thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks for having me. I'm so thrilled to do it. And so as you mentioned, my name's Eva D'Amato. I'm the senior manager of national accounts here at Seabourn and handling our entire Avoya platform. So happy to be with you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, Eva, we're going to start off with a really, really easy question for you. Seabourn, as we all know, is a luxury cruise line. So, what sets you apart from your competition? And we have some wonderful competition out there, but we know that your ships are beautiful. But so, if you could just maybe touch on what sets your wonderful brand apart from everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, uh, Traveling on a small ship luxury cruise line is very special in and of itself because of the places that you go, traveling to all seven continents, all over the world, the islands, the ports, the cities that you get to experience. Is really something that just sets luxury cruising apart. But when you get on the ship, and you first step foot on any one of our ships, really, within our entire fleet, you immediately feel this sense of welcoming. It's really an approachable luxury. And I think what we do well, I think we do a lot well, a lot. But if I have to pick one specific um uniqueness that we have that really separates us, it's when you step onto that ship and you see that crew. We have developed a marketing campaign, and the marketing campaign is actually called This Is Your Moment. And this was developed because guests would get off the ship and they would say, "Oh, I want to tell you about my Seabourn moment. Oh, did you have a Seabourn moment? Oh, have you ever had a Seabourn moment before?" And they would tell us these stories that were far and wide beyond the bartender got my favorite cocktail right my entire cruise. The stories went way bigger than that, and they were so personal and so unique that it really was a Seabourn moment. So a marketing campaign was actually created because of the genuine personalities and crew that are on board that were making these stories happen and making these exceptional moments take place. So when you step on a Seabourn cruise ship, the one thing that absolutely sets us apart, and I really shouldn't say the one thing. I mean, there's a couple things, but I think one of the largest things that sets us apart is absolutely our crew and those stories that you hear when guests get off the ship and they're saying, a crew member went out and collected magnets for me every day because it was something that my husband and I did on one of our sailings prior. And, I told the crew member and they got off and collected magnets. Now we have a magnet from the crew member every day. It's stories like that that I think really set us apart and make us super unique. And something that we're just so thrilled about and so fortunate for. We have such a great crew, a great team, and we have great leadership that really has everyone empowered to create something different and something special and meaningful when they get on board.
And
So
I
I
think
think if I only can give you one, I suppose that's the one.
and that's a great one. I mean, and I would think that another luxury, by being on a small ship, and to me it would be a luxury, is that because your ships are so small, you can get into ports of call the larger ships can't get to. You don't have to tender.
Absolutely.
You get right in there. You walk right off the ship. To me, that's a luxury.
It is, and it's a luxury, and it's also a specific mindset of traveler that we have on board. There's a specific traveler that looks for ships like this that can get them to those smaller ports where larger ships can't follow, and that's really the traveler. They wanna see these unique boutique places of the world, that they just can't get to otherwise. I mean, perfect example is our expedition ships. I'd say that our ocean ships take you off the beaten path, and our expedition ships take you off the charts. So you
There
just
you go.
have a wonderful traveler that really wants to be educated, see these places that are lesser known throughout the world, and really explore.
And if I'm not mistaken, Eva, and I think this would also be another luxury, which brings us to the next question. Am I correct to say that pretty much most of what you have on board is included?
Yes, yeah. So Seabourn is an all-inclusive, we call it the all-inclusive difference. So we have everything on board is included. So your food and drink, any dining, your gratuities, your welcome champagne, anything in your suite as far as your food and drink and dining go. All of our restaurants are included. There's no specific specialty dining. In addition, there's no reservations needed. So it's really a seamless experience when you're
Right.
on board and you can decide what you want to do and when you'd like to do it. So we include everything on board. Our shore excursions are additional. So if you'll notice, our price points are tend to be a little bit lower. And that gives you that buffer room to go ahead and choose your shore excursion. It just helps keep the group smaller and it helps keep everybody entertained with something that they specifically would love to go see
Got
and
you.
seek out.
Got you. Got you. Beautiful. Now, as far as the accommodations on board your amazing ships, am I correct, or is it fair to say they're all suites? And if that's correct, do you have butler service as well?
So we have an all suite ship. So everything starts about 300 square feet, which is really, if you think about it, some of the starting rooms in a luxury hotel, luxury boutique hotel. So we're just like staying in a boutique hotel on land. And now you get that veranda, and everything is oceanfront. So we do not have interior suites. And then you get to enjoy the views from the veranda, whether you're looking at the city or looking at the oceans. But everything goes in suites, and nothing is interior. And we do have you actually have a suite host and a suite attendant, we call them.
Nice.
So similar to a butler service, certainly there if you need to ask them
Got you.
questions or help you out with things like that. But just that sweet host and sweet attendant are there to welcome you with your glass of champagne and your caviar canapé once you get on board, and really just make sure everything's set to your preferences.
Sign me up. I'm ready to go now.
I know, me too. I was really talking myself right into it.
So having said all of that, what would you say is the seaborne demographic if you have one?
Yeah. Well, kind of talking a little bit more about what I mentioned earlier with the seaborne guest really being a traveler and not a tourist. We typically have guests that are truly experienced travelers. We do have many guests that come join us for the first time, and then they're rebooking their Seabourn cruises right away, if not on board. But we do have a traveler that really likes to be educated. They like to be knowledgeable about where they're going. We have our Seabourn Conversations, which host authors, Pulitzer Prize winners, historians. So we have a number of guests that really get excited about the educational opportunities on board. When we're looking at, an age range or a number, we actually are around 45 to we'd say about 65, 70 on board. And we start to skew a little wider for a couple of reasons. We do have our expedition ships now. So our expedition ships are highly active. They're an active luxury. They're really bringing guests to Antarctica, the Arctic, the Amazon, the South Pacific, and the Kimberley. And you're getting off and you're kayaking or you're doing walks or hikes. So that has really brought a newer cruiser to us. However, still kind of the same mindset, really trying to understand where they're going, making sure they're cruising in a sustainable fashion, right? In a sustainable way. So we're part of many tour operator organizations that make sure we are following the protocols and doing things right when we go into certain locations. So really that encompasses a lot of our travelers. And the two biggest interests, I could say three largest interests that we usually see with our travelers when they're not traveling on Seabourn, the interests that they have are tennis, golf, and food and wine. So definitely, um, active active guests.
Perfect, perfect. And you already touched a little bit about my next question is as far as where Seabourn goes. I mean, you mentioned Antarctica, you mentioned the Kimberley, the Amazon. So I'm assuming it's fair to say you go to worldwide destinations. You cover the world.
We do. So we have 7 ships, which will actually be 6 ships this year. So it'll actually be very simple to think about Seabourn. We'll have 2 ships in every class. And 2 of those classes are what we call our ocean ships. Of course, they all sail on the ocean. So coming from land and hotel background, I find some of these things a little funny, but these are our ocean ships. And then we have 2 more brand new expedition ships. So while still sailing on the oceans, they visit those kind of off the chart locations. So we're touching all 7 continents. We have over 460 ports that we go to. We were actually the first to be partnered with UNESCO as well. So a lot of those ports that we're going to, we're hitting on those UNESCO World Heritage sites. We're making sure that we are really bringing a sustainable aspect to the communities and where we go. And then we're going anywhere from the big cities to the smaller cities and small port cities, to the islands, and then we'll head over with our expedition ships, and we'll do the Arctic, the Antarctic, the Amazon, as I mentioned, the Kimberly, and the South Pacific. And so those are our big locations with our expedition ships.
Now, here's a question that I come across a lot with clients. When is the best time to book? And I always tell clients the best time to book is book early. So you get the cabin you want, you get it at a better rate. Is Seabourn fit that pretty much? Book early, book early, get the cabin you want, get the
Yes.
price you want.
Danny, you are you couldn't be more serious. I mean, especially now, right? After we're like, oh gosh, 2 almost 2, 3-ish years coming off of the pandemic. And the amount of travel has just built up so much. So you already have, a group that's coming on board Seabourn that loves Seabourn, that's been here for many years with Seabourn, that knows what they want. So they book it early, they get the best rates, they secure the rates, and then they get to pick their suite. They know what side of the ship they like. They know, their sweetos and suite attendants' names that they want. But then now you have this like spiral of guests that, haven't sailed in a long time or have never sailed or really haven't traveled. And they're like, wait, we need to do this now. We need to make this happen. So there's just this big group of of guests that want to be on board and want to be traveling. And it's become, so serious that you do have to go ahead and get those cabins and book early. I mean, we have our standard booking window is about 3 to 400 days in advance. So if those guests are holding off, there's gonna be some slim pickings there
Yeah,
on certain
yeah.
voyages.
Oh,
They
yeah.
need to they need to definitely book early. But when you book early, you're doing so much for yourself. You're securing a better rate. We usually have promotions. You, of course, as a travel advisor, have access to many more amenities.
Right.
So you have that opportunity. So you're securing that great rate. You're making sure you get them the amenities and their first choice preferences, and then using those promotions to their advantage. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, Eva, you hit everything right on the nail on the head. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It was wonderful. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.